You have probably heard the popular saying, if you don't know where you're going, you'll probably end up somewhere else. This is equally true in speech writing. If you don't have a concise idea as to the purpose of your speech, you will probably end up writing a speech that goes nowhere. In this lesson, you will discover a logical method of writing that will keep your speech content concise and to the point. As a result, your audience will walk away with your ideas clearly embedded in their mind, and you will achieve your speaking objective at the same time. Writing a good speech is like being a good driver, and a good driver always have a roadmap in mind as to what the journey will be. Does your speech have a roadmap? Do you know clearly where your audience are at? Let's call this point A. And do you know clearly where you want to take your audience to? Let's call this point B. In most cases, point A will be where your audience knows nothing about your topic, and point B will be where your audience can walk away knowing something about your topic. Begin your speech writing by first setting out the roadmap. This requires that you state point A, point B, and how you will take your audience from point A to point B. The good news is that if you have taken the time to understand your audience, you would know where point A is. In other words, you know how much your audience knows about your topic. So really, all that you need to do now is to determine point B. This would require you to ask yourself, what would you like your audience to think, feel, or do differently after your presentation? In answering this question, make sure that you are concise and specific. I mean, when you get on a bus, would you like the driver to tell you, I'm going to take you to 125 Eddy Avenue? Or would you prefer the driver to say, the final destination is somewhere in Australia? I don't know about you, but I'm not going to take any chances with a driver that does not know where he or she is going. This means when you're deciding where point B of your speech is, don't just say, they will learn about body language, when you can say, they will learn about 4 ways to make their speech more dynamic with the use of body language. Be specific. Furthermore, be concise. Thomas Jefferson puts it the best. Never use 2 words when 1 will do. In fact, if you can't be concise, your objective is not clear to you. And if your objective is not clear to you, how can it be clear to your audience? So make sure that you know where you want to take your audience by being very specific, clear, and concise. Trust me on this one. No one will ever say to you, I'm sorry, but your message is just too clear. At this point, you have researched into your audience. You know how much your audience knows about your topic before your presentation, and you know where you want your audience to be after your presentation. Now let's think about how you will take your audience from point A to point B. This involves you outlining the key points of your presentation and the evidence that you will use to support these points. For example, in my body language workshop, the 4 key points that I have are how you can eliminate distracting mannerisms, how you can enhance your words with gestures, how you can engage your audience with eye contact, how you can effectively use the speaking floor space. In addition, not only do I tell my audience what the key points are, I also provide them with evidence that they can use to conclude for themselves as to why the points I made are important. When it comes to evidence, you should not limit yourself to numbers and statistics, because quite frankly, numbers and statistics by themselves are boring. To add more excitement and interest in your numbers, you can use them within stories. This way, not only will you get logical appeal with the statistics, you can also get emotional appeal with your story. Never underestimate the power of a well-crafted story. In fact, Bill Gove, the first president of the National Speakers Association, once said, the essence of public speaking is to tell a story and to make a point. You see, people don't remember the points that you make, but they will remember a good story. The good news is that if they remember the story, then they can probably derive the point for themselves. Just think for yourself. Remember the stories that you read or heard as a child? The Three Little Pigs? Beauty and the Beast? You probably remember all those stories. And as you replay those stories in your mind's eye, you probably also remember the points associated with those stories. Now that's the power of a well-crafted story. Once you have outlined the key points of your presentation, as well as the evidence in support of your key points, guess what? That's the body of your speech right there. With the body of your speech organized, you can now focus your attention on your introduction and conclusion, which is something that we'll leave to the next lesson.